what does this mean? What does that mean? How does God feel about gay people? How does God feel about transgender stuff? What about if I get tattoos? What if I pierce my ears? What if I don't want to study religion, etc., etc.? And it really scares a lot of parents. I don't know if my parents did it right because they were strategic about it, or if they just had so many kids that they didn't have time to attend to us one-on-one all the time. But my parents were very quick to say, you're a smart boy, you can figure it out yourself. We took them seriously, like, you can go study it yourself, you can go read it yourself, you can go pray and get answers from God. I've actually had some parents get scared when I said, how about we have your youth read this and then pray about it and pursue their own answers? And they go like, I'm not so sure about that. And I'm all, you're not so sure about having them do exactly what the prophet would have us do? Well, what if they're too young to get answers? And what if they're not smart enough to recognize the answer? And I'm all, are you talking about yourself or your child or what? This language of personal revelation is a new language to all of us, and you can't get good at it if you don't practice it. I think all of us remember a time when our revelations were maybe whispered, like, was that him? That still small voice. I got frustrated with the Holy Ghost more than once going, why do you have to be such a still small voice? Why can't you bang pots and pans together and be louder with a megaphone so I can hear you? And if we don't ask questions, we aren't going to hunger and thirst for answers. We have to have questions. And when the question is asked, what does it mean to take responsibility for your own learning? This also means getting the revelations of what to pursue, what topics, what themes, what skills, so that you can become the best version of you as opposed to a duplication of somebody else. I add a phrase to this one, I need to know the truth for myself. I put in my mind, and I can know the truth for myself. I don't need to rely on parents and family and others to be the source of my questions. God is the source of all truth. He reveals truth through the Holy Ghost, the scriptures, and his prophets and apostles. We have it right there, so we know where to go. And it's not hard. Keep an eternal perspective. Try to see things as the Lord sees them, not as the world does. As a young missionary, when I was trying to figure out, Father, are you pleased with my efforts? I wasn't getting much of an answer, and I was sick and tired of writing in my journal the normal journal entry of a missionary of my time log of doing the same thing over and over again. And I did an experiment where I wrote Dear God on the top of the page, and I wrote it as if it was a letter. The first thing that surprised me is I thought I was going to get in trouble or be cursed because no one in church had ever told me you can write letters to God, and so I had this feeling that that's not appropriate, but I needed to get stuff out of my head. And as I was writing, I don't think it was the first day, but within a week or two, the idea, okay, Maurice, you've written to me multiple times, and I want you to try something. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, I want you to write back to yourself as if you are me. And I'm all, wait, what? That seems blasphemous. He says, no, I want you to practice thinking like I do. I don't want you to be me, I just want you to practice. I want you to start the page this time with Dear Maurice, or Dear Elder Harker at the time. And I'm all, okay, and I'm writing slowly. It says, now pretend you're sitting up here watching you. What would you say to a young man like you? And this blew my mind, because the sensation of, I can see you, I can see what you're trying to do, I can see how hard you're working, I can see how you keep trying even though you don't get results, being flooded with this sensation of he's paying attention, like he's seeing what's going on here. And every time I'd write down a sentence, I could feel a second witness validation. And it was not hard to come to the conclusion at the bottom that said, well done, my good and faithful servant, in whom I'm well pleased. And I'm all, that doesn't make any sense. I'm so used to the westernized philosophy of measuring success based on results that it confused me that I could get credit for effort. And here it says, try to see things the way the Lord sees them, not as the world does. We've got to make sure that our vision of ourselves is the way God would see us, not the way the world sees us. If you're working hard to follow through on things, you don't question your efforts just because other people do. Letters to God and letters from God. Very powerful tool.